In Chapter 19 of Conquest with Zero Strength and Magic, we have to handle a route map against 37 Kitsune, all of whom do 2x effective damage against beast units. Currently, the only vulnerable unit I am using is Xander, who I decided to reclass into a Wyvern Lord. This removes his weakness for this map, but more importantly, it also gives him flying utility, which will be very important for the next two chapters as well. By this point, I have also managed to get Kaze and Camilla to an S support rank. The goal of this pairing is to stack Poison Strike and Savage Blow to deal massive % HP damage, and then double up on that with the Replicate skill from the Mechanist class line to increase my unit count and action economy. This skill combination can then be passed down to Midoriya, giving me a total of 6 Poison Strike Savage Blow units, which should be able to wreak absolute havoc on my enemies. To this end, I reclassed Camilla into a Mechanist to build towards Poison Strike and Replicate, but I will have to wait to reclass Kaze because of a limit on partner seals until I get the level 3 staff store. My usual strategy for Chapter 19 will be to completely cheese this map by deploying many flying units and hitting the enemies from complete safety on the mountains. Unfortunately, most of the characters I want to train are not flying units, and so doing it that way would leave me slightly less prepared for future chapters. So instead, I decided to fight the Kitsune head on, which is much more difficult and only marginally more rewarding, but I'm not playing this challenge to have an easy time. The map starts with 8 initially aggressive enemies, with around half coming from the top and the other half coming from the left. My initial attempts go poorly because I simply cannot fight 8 enemies at once, and sadly, Dwyer, the child unit that I created and trained specifically for an advantage on this map, underperforms because his speed is too low to double and his damage is a lot less impressive than I thought it would be, even with the Hunter's Knife. So I decided to try something else. I have Xander act as bait. Typically, unless there are specific conditions programmed in, enemies in Fire Emblem Fates will move to attack the closest enemy that they can damage. So I decided to exploit this by having Xander fly to the mountains above the starting area to repeatedly bait and stall the enemies at the top. This high defenses and a lack of beast weakness due to his reclass, he is able to keep half of the initially aggressive enemies occupied indefinitely, splitting the 8 strong enemy group into 2 groups of 4, and this lets me completely wipe out the first group of 4 with my stacked % HP damage. Once I allow the other half to come down, they suffer a similar fate. The remaining enemies on this map are split into similarly sized linked AI groups that move together, including 2 groups of 7 and 1 group of 10. All of these are too large for me to handle all at once, but using similar tactics, I'm able to split them up into more manageable chunks. By doing this, even the map's gimmick of some Kitsune periodically becoming untargetable is no big deal because I fight them in small enough numbers that it doesn't matter. The boss Kaden is slightly stronger than the other Kitsune, but it doesn't matter because I am confident in being able to kill nearly any enemy that can at most only have 100% of their own max HP.